was the deal with that website anyway? Hello and welcome to the very rare Citanium discusses Aesplora, which is, I guess, a website, apparently, video. So, on the most recent episode of Citanium talking about the warning, we went over the ritual music video. But one of the weird things that happened when I was doing some research for that was I came across a website called Aesplora, which is the first time that I had ever seen this, and it was very odd because the headline that had come up, the warning announces 2026 farewell tour. One last ride marks the end of a rock legends era, dates and cities revealed. Wow, that must be really important information, especially for the band, because I don't think anyone told them. The thing about it is that this came out in January. It is the only place you will see this article, probably because it's not real. They don't even talk about dates for the farewell tour, and they give just a smattering of famous cities, probably for SEO, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Aesplora, where legit lives, seems to just make fake articles about music. What other discoveries could we have on this website? Sure, we've now learned that apparently, in some alternate reality, the warning is currently going on their farewell tour, One Last Ride, but what other artists are also going on farewell tours? Don't worry, Aesplora has you covered. Ed Sheeran announces the 2026 tour One Last Ride, an emotional revival that breathes new life into the spirit of music. Tour dates and cities revealed, I'm sure. An open letter. Time has come. Imagine Dragons announces 2027 farewell tour, One Last Ride, marks the end of a rock legends era. Dates and cities revealed. Teddy Swims announces 2026 farewell tour. Oh, this one is also called One Last Ride, and it marks the end of a rock legends era. This one also has dates and cities revealed? Amazing. Oasis announcing 2027 farewell tour. They also called this one One Last Ride. Oh, it's going to mark the end of a rock legends era? There are going to be dates and cities revealed? Amazing. Godsmack is announcing a One Last Ride tour? Here's the One Last Ride tour that will officially have Teddy Swims, Post Malone, Jelly Roll, and Chris Stapleton uniting in a once-in-a-generation American music event. Boy, can't wait to see that. Metallica announces the 2026 tour One Last Ride. One Last Ride World Tour officially announced. James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, Kirk Hammett, Robert Trujillo. Wait, isn't that Metallica? We just used the names in a different article that we put out the day after the other article. Search engine optimization, I swear. Phil Collins' final goodbye leaves the music world holding its breath. Oh, he's calling his farewell tour One Last Ride as well. This, for the record, is just articles that they put out this year. Now, I'm just going to say that I don't think that any of these are real. That is my personal opinion. But I will start to show you some evidence in this video of why that might be, if I haven't already given you a feeling that this site is very fake. You may also remember that I talked about the highly anticipated Warning documentary that apparently Netflix is putting on. Thank you, Aesplora, for that. And this very real cover for the Netflix documentary, this is definitely real, that they put out the same day as their other article about the warning. And as far as I can tell, these are like the only two articles that they've put out, and they put them out on the same day. As I talked about on the Ritual episode, I have no information, nor has anyone been able to give me any information that there is indeed a Netflix documentary, and that's probably because I'm pretty sure it doesn't exist. Netflix, get back with me if that's not true, but I'm just going to say that, especially after seeing this poster, yeah, it's definitely not real. But don't worry, the warning is not alone here. Dimmu Borgir just shocked fans. Netflix dark new documentary reveals secrets you won't believe. I'm sure I won't believe it. Netflix releases trailer for the anticipated Viking movie, 3 Warlords, 1 Crown, Blood Will Decide Who Rules. Oh, that has been highly anticipated. I've heard so much about it from this site right now. Wout van Aert, Racing Beyond Limits, The Champion's Untold Story, now streaming on Netflix. Watch the new Netflix documentary trailer for Alphaville below. Netflix releases trailer for the anticipated Viking movie, 3 Warlords, 1 Crown, Blood. Oh, hey, I heard about that. It's official. Netflix unveils trailer for the highly anticipated Elizabeth Thatcher documentary. Isn't that, like, a still from... is it When Calls the Heart? I haven't seen it, but I swear I've seen that picture somewhere. I can't quite place it. It's like a Canadian show, right? When Darkness Sings, the metal documentary Netflix doesn't want you to miss. Considering Netflix has not told me about it at all, I'm pretty sure they're fine with me missing it, to be honest with you. Netflix is about to expose Corey Taylor like never before. The truth behind the mask could change everything. No, it won't. Good news, the Corey Taylor documentary is also getting picked up by Diamond Sport and Sport Files 2. Only the most reputable of sources. These are like the first search results I got, too. Netflix just dropped a Liam Gallagher documentary, and fans are losing their minds. Probably losing their minds trying to figure out where they can actually watch it. Official Netflix series. Netflix releases Liam Payne, Louis Tomlinson, and Harry Styles album. Netflix has finally unveiled the trailer for the highly anticipated Liam Payne documentary. Watch here now. I don't think I'll be able to. Netflix debuts the official trailer for the highly anticipated Liam Payne documentary. You know, I heard that somewhere. I can't remember where. Those 3 articles, by the way, they dropped on like June 8th, then June 10th, then June 12th. That's viewer retention right there. Remembering Liam Payne, the powerful story behind a life short spent. Watch emotional trailer here. You know, the thing that's so sad is, like, so Liam Payne died in 2024. The thing that's so sad is that, you know, sites like this can still try to find a way to make $1 off of your corpse after you're gone. Like, even in death, you don't get relief from this. It's pretty terrible, actually. But they do tell me that I can watch the emotional trailer here, and I can't. If you're like a fan of these groups and you go to this website, that must be incredibly, like, frustrating and disheartening. Right? Like, if you actually go into this thinking that there's actually a documentary and there's actually a trailer for you to watch, which is what they do so that you'll click on the article, and then you go there, there is no trailer, you can't find the documentary. How terrible must it be for you as a fan to get there? They hated playing it safe, the Radiohead documentary that's shocking Netflix viewers worldwide. I'm starting to think that Netflix is just a good keyword for your SEO, and so they need to put it into all of these articles for the descriptions and the headlines because it will get more traffic that way. The site is falling apart in real time, I swear. You may also remember that Aesplora gave us this exclusive information that Jimmy Page and Robert Plant would be reuniting to play at Super Bowl 2026, and blink if you missed them. But I think that what's really fascinating is I didn't know how many other people were apparently playing at the Super Bowl. You want to see? The world has long anticipated Il Volo's famous display of vocal prowess in Super Bowl 2026, which is sure to make history. Yeah, because no one saw it. Super Bowl 2026 is set to make history as Andrea Bocelli and Matteo Bocelli unite on the biggest stage on Earth, a breathtaking convergence of a legendary voice and a rising one bound by blood and music. Yeah, they weren't there. Oh, another article about it. Sure, why not? Super Bowl 2026 set to make history as Steven Tyler and Joe Perry unite on the biggest stage on Earth. They did? David Draymond and Amy Lee reunite? Wow, this Super Bowl is going to be amazing. It already happened? Oh, I should have watched it. Ed Sheeran and Shane Fallon, I'm not saying that right, am I? Unite on the biggest stage on Earth. That's going to be exciting. Motley Crue's going to be at Super Bowl 2026. That's got to be amazing information for them. Could someone tell Motley Crue they were supposed to be at the Super Bowl this year? Andre Rieu and Andrea Bocelli to headline Super Bowl 2026 halftime show. Note that this was released January 21st of this year. Bad Bunny had already been announced as the headline act in September. Speaking of Bad Bunny, Aesplora only has one article that talks about Bad Bunny, and it happens to be under the headline, Breaking Jon Bon Jovi to headline the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show. In this article, which we now know is completely wrong, they say that the NFL and Super Bowl decided to reevaluate their plans. The decision was made to replace Bad Bunny with a legendary figure whose influence and appeal transcend generations. And now the world knows who that is. Jon Bon Jovi, the iconic singer, songwriter, and rock legend, whose career spans over 4 decades, is set to headline the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show. Newsflash from the future? No! So we know that there's articles on this site that are genuinely, verifiably wrong. Super wrong. But it gets even worse because there are also articles on this site that are giving the wrong information for things that are coming up, which if you're an artist seems like it's going to be a problem. Let me give you an example. Rush announces expensive 2027 world tour. Ooh, expensive. That's good for the SEO, actually, right there. 2027 world tour, full dates and cities revealed. Now, they actually do... Oh my god. Now, they actually do have, as you can see, dates and cities that are listed here. None of these dates are real. If you just go to Rush's website and look at their 2027 tour dates, which is called 50-something. I know you're surprised that it's not called One Last Ride. You would have thought. But anyway, 50-something tour dates, these are completely different. On Aesplora, they say that Rush is going to be performing September 14th at the O2 in London. Okay? On September 14th. Now, they are performing at the O2, but apparently on March 16th and March 18th. But who are you gonna believe? Aesplora or the band on their own website? Well, you know what? Why don't we go to the O2 and see if they have dates listed? This will get to the bottom of the mystery. Oh yeah, they're performing there on the 16th and the 18th, and also now on the 21st. Rush, you didn't tell me that you were performing there on the 21st. Rush has to update their website, apparently. I'm finding all sorts of inconsistencies all over the web now. What am I going to do? Here are the confirmed cities and dates. Toronto, Canada, Rogers Centre, March 30th to 31st. Rush, do you have anything to say about that? It's not here. Not here at all. Hey, Madison Square Garden, April 10th and 12th. Rush, did you know you were doing that? No, they're in Helsinki, Florida that day. Couple thousand miles difference. I'm sure they can make it to both shows. But the wild thing is, Aesplora also contradicts itself in other articles. This is another article that they put out about the Rush World Tour on the same day. And I will show you that these dates and cities are completely different. Including, you'll notice, on June 10th, when they are supposed to be in New York, New York. Wild, because in their other article, they say that they'll be at the Tokyo Dome in Japan on June 10th and 11th. which isn't even the same as the poster that they attached to that article. They put these out on the same day, folks. The other thing that's kind of wild about this is that they mention, like, nothing about Annika Nils. You'd think that that would be pertinent information to talk about. So the question is, why? Why would someone make this website? Why would someone make any of these other websites that seem to be doing the same basic thing? Money. Money. Not necessarily a lot of money, but money nonetheless. All you need to do is get a lot of words and phrases that are going to play well for your search engine optimization. And for people who don't know a lot about this, I've had a little bit of experience. I'm not an expert, but basically in the description text of your web pages and in like headlines and stuff, you want to try and get keywords that people are going to be searching for. Like, for instance, explosive or expensive or dates, cities, times, things like that. Big name bands, celebrity names, stuff of that nature. Now, in a legitimate website that's actually trying to convey information, you want your words and phrases to be related to the thing that you're doing. You have a service company, you're going to want to make it clear that you service these towns, and you're probably going to want to put that into all of the applicable pages, as well as likely saying, like, near you, that these are near these areas. Make that clear in the phrasing so that when people go there looking for, like, a plumber or an electrician near them, this is likely to appear higher in the search results. But if you're not a legitimate website, then you're going to want to just throw a lot of keywords people are going to be searching for, like, you know, farewell tour and Netflix, and throw all the band members' names in there, or calling your YouTube video Frozen Elsa and Spider-Man vs. Evil Queen, Elsa gets a gummy Joker tongue, superhero fun in real life. Don't know why I threw that example out there, just came to the top of my head. And hey, you know what? Because you don't know exactly what's going to play, make multiple articles and have the phrasing different on all of them. That might work. Maybe try Spider-Man and Frozen Elsa with Doctor, with Pink Spider-Girl, Ariel Joker, superhero fun in real life. Just a thought. Now, how do you actually monetize this? Well, you might have noticed when I was going through those web pages, but there are so many pop-up ads in this site. Some of them just pop up randomly. Some of them actually appear in the photos that they use for the cover art. There's so many on the headers, on the footers. It's everywhere. It's constant. And if you can get some money off of that, you can have that really rack up. How much money? Well, I'm not an expert in that. I did a quick search, and the Copilot search results that came back basically talk about, like, maybe $5 to $6 CPM. That's cost per mille, which is a fancy way of saying thousand. And basically that means that if you have 1,000 impressions, you would get money per 1,000 impressions for your ad. Which, from my understanding at least, having done a little bit of this for companies that I worked for, is basically your ad has appeared on a web page that people looked at. They might not interact with that ad at all, but every 1,000 people that go to the website that the ad appears on, you would pay money for. And they're saying $5 to $6, at least according to Aesplora. So take that with the grain of salt that it is. But there's also cost per click and cost per action, which would definitely be more valuable, but I'm going to theorize that they're probably doing a CPM model, because chances are there's not a lot of viewer retention on these sites. Once you start to realize that the information is wrong, you're not going to go around trying to click on the ads that pop up. You can only hope that maybe people click on them accidentally, because if you're having them randomly pop up in the middle of the screen, people might click on them without realizing it. But that's a real risky proposition. if you just know that people are going to click on the website because this is the craziest headline you could ever imagine, then it's likely you can get 1,000 people in there. And then you can translate that into some dollar figures for every single one of the ads that you can pop up on the screen while people are scrolling. As I alluded to earlier in the video, Aesplora is not the only one that does this. There are other sites that have similar, just completely made up titles. But you know what, Aesplora? I'm sorry to tell you, you were somehow the best at doing your SEO because you were the one that showed up earliest in the search results when I was looking up information about the warning, so you're in the hot seat. Congratulations, you did your job too well, apparently. There's no comments to show, unlike any of these articles. No one has interacted with this at all. Should I leave a comment? I kind of don't want to, because then they'll know who I am. They'll have an email address, and I don't want to get more emails from these people. I don't want more interactions than I need to. Although, what if I just used a fake name and email? Today, we're going to be Big Money Salvia, and our email is going to be bigmoneysalvia@askjeeves.com. Eric, I'm doing this for you. We might as well do this on the article that brought us here, the warning announcing their farewell tour one last ride. Well, alright, we're going to try this again. Hello, this is Buddy Holly. I would like to announce my farewell tour one last ride, which will be going all over the United States and Greenland. For obvious reasons, I will only be traveling by bus. Fans can hopefully hear my famous songs like Buddy Holly, more recently covered by Weezer. Dates and times are available here, by which I mean you can summon them with a spirit board. Thank you. Post. We did it, folks. Do you think that's going to get approved? This is likely the only comment that they have gotten on this website. You're welcome for the engagement. Oh, and there's some pop-up ads. Perfect. So, just to clarify, please don't go to Aesplora. You're going to see so many pop-up ads, articles that are fake, and frankly, you're going to occasionally, by which I mean often, be told that you need to prove that you are not a bot, which I think is hilarious, at which point you will also get this fake McAfee warning to scan your computer for viruses, and I'm pretty sure this is just a spoof site, because I don't have McAfee, so, be aware of that. It also makes it, impossible to actually jump back out of this. I just have to go back to a different page and get into it again in a different tab. Bad site, I guess. I'm getting at. My general takeaway, though, is that apparently there's enough meat on the bones to just spew whatever online if you can just get enough ad revenue out of it. And you know what? Hate the game, not the player, I guess. But, you didn't have to play. It wasn't necessary. But as far as gaming the system goes, props, I guess, until they inevitably shut you down, because chances are a lot of artists don't want fake tours and dates and times out there at the top of search results. I would imagine. I don't know. I'm not in the industry. I guess the reason why this bothers me so much is because once upon a time, I was a journalist. Like an actual journalist that worked for an actual newspaper. If I had written anything like this and put it into the newspaper, I would be held accountable for that. I would have absolutely been held accountable for making stuff up. And there would have been blowback, and I probably would have lost my job. In the modern era, well, you don't need to worry about that. There are some wonderful possibilities on the internet for independent journalism, for people who really want to be able to go and do real journalism. But there's also the possibility that you can create as many rags as you possibly can. And unfortunately, there's a lot of those out there too. Thank you for going down this rabbit hole with me, and now, back to your regularly scheduled program. Sharpest Reef Sparkling Summits.lol says, add extension to continue. No. No, I don't think I will.